Next topic which we are going to start today is the energy audit instruments. And in these instruments, first of all, we will take up those instruments which are directly linked with the safety considerations. And these safety considerations could be from the point of view of hearing, respiration, electrical, high temperature, etc. So the audit team or its manager or works manager should be thoroughly briefed about the safety equipment while installing, and also uh, the precautions which are to be taken care of while working on those machines. Why it is necessary? Because some of the instruments or the machines, the conducting part and the insulating parts are not far behind. So there can be the cases where the insulation part gets disrupted and the leakage current flows into it. And when we are touching those live parts, so that is harmful. And similarly, while we are dealing with the boilers, heaters, we are dealing with the high temperatures. Okay, so the gloves, electrical gloves or the asbestos gloves should be worn as a precautionary measure, because the asbestos gloves are the best, you can say, because they can sustain high temperature even when the environmentalists or the geologists who go into the crater of the volcanoes for different kind of measurements, they use asbestos dressing. Okay. Similarly, the workers who are working on the open drive shafts or belts or gears, they should, or any form of the rotating machines, whether it is the motor or generator, then these are asked to wear a particular type of the dress. Even when the students go for the workshop during the first year, they are required to wear a particular dress, so that those hangings parts of the clothing do not get attracted by those rotating part, because it may lead to some injuries. Okay, and also the loss of the fabrics. So now the safety concern, moving further, first is the electrical part. We should avoid working on the live circuits if possible. Always, while we are going for the maintenance, we should switch off the circuit and then change its faulty part, or check for the faults if any. Similarly, while we are done with our those maintenance parts, it should also, again, security lock, it should be properly screwed so that it can be, any injury can be avoided. And always one should try to keep one hand in the pocket. It helps in prevention of the cardiac arrest or the heart attack, which we are aware of. Similarly, when we are talking of the respiratory, some of the industries uh, are prone to respiratory problems, especially in the spinning industries and the fabric industries, mills, those mills. What happens that uh, small minute particles of those fabrics a person can inhale. Okay, that particle size is very small, so mistakenly he can inhale. So a respiratory mask should be there, should, so that it can filter those particle sizes. Similarly, if we are working in such environment, especially in the boilers or the generation plants, thermal power plants, there are concentrations of noxious gases, SO2 gases, NO, nitrogen dioxide, NO, carbon monoxide, etc. So, and also the carbon particles in it. So if we are wearing the proper mask, then it is again helpful, so that we can use or work in a best possible manner in the toxic environment. And nowadays, the mask has even additional benefit, that it is preventing the virus. Okay, virus spread is also there. So now comes the hearing. So the foam inserted plugs can be used or should be used when we are working on the loud machinery, to reduce the sound levels to 30 decibels. Until the sound level is 30 decibel, it's good enough, it is not a big problem. But when the sound goes beyond that, we may suffer from the temporary deafness. Okay, so those plugs are to be inserted, especially also industry we have talked about, and also the persons who are working in the airports or Indian Air Force aerodromes. So Indian Air Force aerodromes are even more prone because there are the regular sorties of the fighter planes. Fighter planes come down and go up, and whenever they take off or land, there is a huge noise produced. So that is to be guarded against. So they are provided, Air Force people, airmen who are working directly in the hangars, or they are provided with the special those plugs with the foams. And also, if at all those things are not working or you have misplaced, you should have the alternative arrangement of at least inserting the cotton in your ears so that you can prevent any problem. Other electrical parameters which are to be measured when we are going for the diagnostic or the detail auditing are the current measurement, which is done with the help of the ammeters. It can be motors or generators, and voltmeters. It measures the voltage, and wattmeter, it measures the power. And these three instruments are well known to you because they were a part of you in the 11th 12th as well as in the first year electrical electronics, etc. This cosometer, it measures the power factor. It is the new term for you. And the multimeter, it measures every all of the above these quantities. It can be, and in addition to that, it also measures the frequency, phase angle, resistance, AC measurement, DC measurement. And these multimeters are available in analog and digital mode both. Okay, so some of the students who were associated with me in the first year, I have also shown them these instruments. Maybe they are more aware of these things. So, and also since we are going for the diagnostic measurement, other power measurements like the reactive power, apparent power, active power, all these things should either measured directly or should have the idea from the nameplate rating of the machines, or it should be in a convertible manner, or we should be well aware of the conversions of these powers so that we can convert from one form to another. And again, this power triangle and different types of powers you have studied in the first year. In the power triangle, it is the hypotenuse which is having the apparent power, which is measured in volt amperes or the kVA, and the base of this triangle, power triangle, is the active power, usually measured in watt or kilowatt. Whenever we go for any purchase of the electrical item, we ask for the instrument along with the power rating, 1 kilowatt or half kilowatt or 20 watt tube light, etc. Okay, and the perpendicular of this power triangle is the reactive power. Okay, so again, the instruments and the machinery which are available in the market can have the same speed motors like in our water motors, or it can have the variable speed drives. Okay, so all these measurements, RMS value, average value, which you have studied in your lower classes, you should measure while conducting the diagnostic auditing or the detail auditing. Next is the temperature measurement. So there are many methods of measuring the temperature. One is shown in your screen. It is very popular nowadays. It is infrared thermometer or the non-contact thermometers. And other options are the resistance thermometer detector, also known as RTD. So it has high level of accuracy, so it is to be calibrated. And for even higher temperatures up to 1000 degrees centigrades, thermocouples are used. These thermocouples are used for boilers and heaters, etc. And these are also portable. Next is the thermistors. They are also the permanent meters and are of low cost and automatic resetting capabilities. This is a good option which is available at low cost. So infrared thermometers you have seen, and it sends the hot spots. And although there is a, there can be some problem due to the infrared projection on the human bodies if we are using these thermometers for a long durations, then it can be a problem. Otherwise it is a good option. And also we can read its reading through the digital meter in a digital form, so it gives the accurate reading. So what were the other methods which were used for temperature measurements earlier were the mercury thermometer. So that mercury thermometers are being replaced by the digital thermometers nowadays. for the simple reason because the mercury is not good for us, and also it is not good for the environment. Because if inadvertently, if by mistake we have broken any thermometer, then that mercury, it vaporizes in the atmosphere and creates the ozone hole. Okay, so again it is a problem. Many European countries and the American country, America, has banned those mercury thermometers, although it is still available in our country. Next is the flow measurement. So flow measurement is the measurement of the fluid. This fluid can be, uh, by simple meaning, we know that the fluid means anything which can flow. So fluid includes gases and liquids. Okay, so the one of the instrument is shown here. So main process of measuring the flow is the, uh, we should know two things. First is the pressure, and second, the consideration is the size or the radius or the area of the pipe, which is through which the liquid fuel or steam or hot water, cold water, or any airflow measurement is possible. So that pipe should be such that it is made up of corrosion resistance substance, because whenever there will be a flow of liquid or steam, it contains heavy salts, so which sooner or later leads to the corrosion, internal corrosion, or damaging of those pipes. So two three types of meters are available to measure these meters. First is the differential pressure meters. It is based on the pressure measurement. Second is the interference meter. Next is the non-interference meters or the ultrasonic magnetic meters, and mass meters, which can measure the mass which is being flown through those pipes. So next is the exhaust gas measurement. So these are the gases which can be a big problem if we inhale. So, but what is the positive thing about it? We should look into that as well. So first of all, as a precautionary measure, we have studied recently that we should use good quality masks for this. And these are the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur oxides, and the nitrogen oxides with the smoke content. So there is an instrument called electronic gas analyzers which can measure these gases. So as shown in the diagram, so it can show in the screen that which type of gas is present in the smoke, which is being coming out of the chimneys or any boilers, or the furnace which is used for the combustion and raising high temperature. So there can be leakage of these gases. So the person who is working in the vicinity, so using these instrument, we can detect which kind of gases are being liberated, so that the proper precautionary measure or the proper masking can be done. And also it can measure the temperature. So but what is the positive thing about it? The positive thing about it is that these gases, when going out of the chimney, they are having the high temperature. So that heat or the temperature is to be taken before they are released to the environment or the open environment, because that heat can be again used for heating the water to convert it into the steam. Next is the measurement of the speed of the rotating equipments. So tachometer and the stroboscope, these are the two prominent instruments which are used for the measurement of rotating equipments, especially the motors and the generators. So these tachometers are again of two types. First is the contact type, and second is the non-contact type. So in the contact type, we insert or insert the plunger which is available in this tachometer to the shaft of the rotating part. It can be motor or the generator. So the speed which the motor or generator is moving, the same speed will be acquired by the material. and it will be reflected digital system as shown. So next, non-contact type tachometers. The non-contact type tachometers have the infrared sensor in the front, and another infrared sensor is placed in the shaft of the motor. So as and when it is passing or rotating, the number of contacts which is made by those two sensors will be synchronized, and calculation will be done based on the RPM or the RPS, which we can again either customize or it can be a prefix type. Okay. Next is the digital stroboscope. It is a flashing light source and it is used to measure the speed of the fast moving objects. These tachometers, which we have just discussed, generally it measures 1400, 1500 RPM or at max 3000 RPM. So, but if the speed is more, then this stroboscope is used for fast moving objects to produce the optical effect of stopping or slowing down the high speed motion for the purpose of observation and the research, and also used in the high speed photography. Okay, so here we conclude